Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. Today's show is 100 Black Men of Greater Detroit. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. Today, our show is 100 Black Men of Greater Detroit, and we have with us the president, Mr. Bill Millbrook. Good morning, Mr. Millbrook.
Good morning, Marcia. How are you today?
Fine, fine. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Good, good. Now, I want to start off with a general question, and mainly that is, can you tell us the history of 100 Black Men in your role as the president?
Sure. The Detroit chapter of the 100 Black Men is part of a national organization of the 100 Black Men of America that was started in 1964 in New York City. There are presently about 106 chapters across the United States of America as well as in the UK, and that represents about 10,000 African American men that are involved, that are concerned, committed, and engaged in the community of helping to improve the lives of African American men, women, and youth. We have four areas that we focus in primarily. We call that our four for the future. Number one is mentoring. Second is education. Third is economic development. And fourth is health and wellness. The Detroit chapter, which again represents men from all walks of life, from people that you would know, such as former Mayor Dennis Archer, to people like myself that you've never heard of, that really are committed to doing those things in our community to improve the lives of African American youth, men and women. We started in 1993 as an organization, and I have had the opportunity and the privilege to serve this organization as its president beginning in year 2009.
Okay, okay. Now, so the mission overall is for?
The mission overall is to improve the lives of African American men, women, and primarily youth. And there are four areas, as I said, that we focus in on. And each of those areas, we have programs, a number of programs that are targeted at both youth as well as the general population to improve their lives.
Okay. Now, how does one become a member of the organization?
That's real simple. What you have to do is apply to our organization. We have an annual intake process that actually is beginning right now, and that goes through now, which is November through December of this year. And you have to go through an interview process, submit an application, and then our induction ceremony is in March of 2010. If someone is interested in joining our organization, the best way to get that information is to go to our website, which is www.100blackmendetroit.org, and you can learn about all of the things that we do in terms of our service to the community. It will talk about the process of joining the organization, what are the expectations of members to become a member, and just a very robust tool to learn more about what we do in the community.
Okay. Now, as a person wants to join, is there room for women to join, or is this predominantly men because it says 100 Black Men?
This is a all-male organization. However, there is the 100 Black Women of America, and they have a similar organization.
Okay.
And we've partnered with them in the past. But for this organization, this is again African American men stepping up and doing what we need to do to improve our community.
Okay. What's the age group? Is there an age group for?
We have the youngest, I believe, that's in our organization is 27. And then we have some gentlemen that are probably mature 60 and beyond.
Okay. What about volunteerism? Is there anything that says volunteers?
Our whole organization is nothing but volunteer. We
Okay.
have no paid staff. Everything that we do is on a volunteer basis.
Okay, okay. So in the event when someone wants to join, you're saying there's a open window period for
Yes.
joining. Is that quarterly, done quarterly?
Yeah,
or?
that open window starts in October, goes through December.
Okay.
Then that gives us time in January and February to do. You have to go through a background check because you're working with youth. You have to submit to a background check. You have to then go through an interview process, and then once that's done, then our full body will vote yay or nay on an individual joining the organization. However, throughout the year, anybody that expresses an interest in learning more about the 100, we encourage and invite them to our monthly meetings, and gives them an opportunity to really kind of touch and feel and see if what we do is something that is a match for what their interests are.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with more questions and information on 100 Black Men of Greater Detroit. We'll be right back.
America's greatness was not crafted in skyscrapers alone, but on the ground by those who could see what needed to be done. Volunteers who in service stepped forward onto the dust of the moon, the levee in the heartland, the marble steps of a dream. You may ask yourself, where's my moon, my levee, my dream? Well, it's here with you. Step forward. Help renew America at usaservice.org.
In 1990, in Severn, Maryland, the daughter of a clergyman was discovered by a music industry insider while pumping gas at a service station. The odds of her getting signed and spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of this former church choir singer going on to sell 40 million records? 1 in 15 million. The odds of the same woman winning 6 Grammy Awards and starring in 2 Broadway plays? 1 in 75 million. The odds of this musician and performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 150. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
And welcome back to the second half of the show. For those of you who are just now joining us, we're with the president of 100 Black Men of Greater Detroit, Mr. Bill Middlebrook. Now, Bill, let me ask you this. We left off with finding out about the mission and how one can become involved.
Sure.
Tell us about some of the programs in detail.
Okay, great. We have what we call our flagship program. It's called Project Success. And what we have done is we have adopted Southeastern High School in the city of Detroit. And what we have done is over the last 3 years, we have taken about 25 young men and we've taken them as freshmen, and our objective is to stay with those young men through graduation and make sure that they go on to either college, they go on to some kind of a community college, vocation, but they become solid citizens for their community. And what we do there is on a 16-week basis, every Saturday for 3 hours, we take those young men, we bus them from Southeastern High School, we bus them to the Henry Ford Health System headquarters. They've donated that facility for us to work with them. And we have 3 hours of programming that we do with those young men. The first hour is there's a program called Exchange City, and they have a warehouse. It's about a 22,000 square foot warehouse in Taylor that's built out like a city. And within that city, they have various functions within a city. A government function, utilities, newspaper, credit unions, etc. And what they have is they have a curriculum that teaches young men and women how to run a city. And so over the 16-week period, we have an hour of programming every week that teaches the young men about the various aspects of running a city. That will culminate at the end of our program with a 6-hour event at Exchange City where the young men will put into practice all of the skills that they've learned in the previous 15 weeks.
Okay, but let me ask you something. I mean, but
Sure.
how was the young men selected?
What we did is we did a rally at Southeastern High School, and we made a offer to any young man that was interested in joining our organization as a part of this program to show up. And those young men, excuse me, and their parents or significant other guardian had to sign a pledge to work with us. And that is how we've selected those
Okay.
individuals.
So it has nothing to do with grades or
No,
income level? or
I would
anything
tell
like
you
that?
we have a range of young men. There's some that are performing probably below a 2.0 and some that are performing at 3.5 or greater. So we have a range of young men.
Because the reason I was asking about how are they selected, there are a lot of our young youth, male youth in youth homes or facilities that may have done something once in their life and it just, catapulted to the point where they couldn't go back home or
Right.
the situation was like uncontrollable. Do you guys pick up or work with youth facilities or young men in those type of programs so that they can get a chance to come out of the negative and go into the positive?
Well, I would tell you if you've had an opportunity to be in the neighborhood where Southeastern is, that's a very challenging neighborhood to live in and be a part of. And so our commitment is, having adopted that school, we are concentrating our efforts as it relates to those 25 young men that we've made a commitment to that says, if you stay with us, we will stay with you all the way from your freshman year to your senior year. So we're the third year into that program right now. So if I can go back and just walk you through the second hour of programming is we've hired a PhD professor in African American history. And the second hour of the programming for the students is they learn about African American history. And the objective of that is of those 25 young men to have them select representatives that will compete at a national level at the 100 Black Men's National Convention next summer. And then the third hour is what is devoted to a couple different things. One is we have ACT and college prep testing, skill sets. We have different men and women that are from different walks of life that will come in and kind of do a career day function, if you will. And then we also have various field trips that we take the young men on. Out of those 25 young men, 12 of them will earn the right to have an all-expense paid trip on the part of the 100 to fly them to our national convention, which again this year, or 2010, will be in St. Petersburg, Florida. This past year it was in New York City. The first year that we took the young men, it was in Orlando.
That's got to be pretty
And
exciting.
a lot of these young men have never
Never.
been out of their neighborhood, let alone to an airport, on an airplane, to a place like New York City
So that
or
allows
Orlando, Florida.
this generation of young men to reach back and help someone else as they go through the...
Sure, absolutely.
through the
Our
different
motto
levels.
is what they see is what they will be. And so what we try to do is to project a positive image for those young men. All
Well, let's
right?
talk about the part where it says man up. Let's talk about health.
Sure, okay.
Give me that
All right.
insight.
That is part of our health and wellness initiative. And what we're trying to do there is we have established a 3-year strategic relationship and partnership with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, American Cancer Society, and the Michigan Department of Community Health. And there are 3 objectives that we have for that particular initiative. Number one, what we want to do is we want to raise the awareness of African American men to prostate awareness and prostate cancer. Second, we want to try and push more African American men into a relationship with a primary care physician. And then third, what we're trying to do again is increase the overall knowledge of African American men to health in general. Why is that important? Well, here in Michigan, only 40%, excuse me, I should say that, roughly 40% of African American men do not reach the age of 65.
Okay.
As it relates to prostate cancer or cancer in general, 37% of African American men that are diagnosed with cancer have prostate cancer. African American men are 2.5 times more likely to die from prostate cancer than the normal population of men in the United States of America.
Now let me ask you this, for the awareness factor, what is it that you gentlemen are doing in particular
Sure.
to bring it to light? Because we actually had a chance to, or I did, read an article in reference to this, and this is what prompted me to want to interview in the first place,
Sure.
because we feel like some men are not listening or not getting the message early enough to know that you can catch this condition early and have it taken care of to redirect it.
Sure.
So what do you guys, what's
Okay.
your pivotal point?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that question. First, for me personally, hit home. I had a brother that passed away at age 47 of colon cancer. So direct hit. Most men, whether you're African American or not, don't like going to the doctors, particularly African American men. We have a culture, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'd say in this instance, it's wrong that we do not, and will not go and seek out medical assistant, all right? And so what we did as part of this initiative in partnership with, as I said, Blue Cross Blue Shield, American Cancer, and Michigan Department of Health, back in June, we did a health clinic at the Ford Field where we did testing, diagnosis, as well as general information, and we had probably close to 300 people participate in that program. In September of this year, we did our Man Up, Let's Talk Health. We had a radiothon on, at that time it was Smooth Jazz 98.7.
Okay.
And we did an all-day blitz about Man Up, Let's Talk About Health. And what we did is we went around to various sites within the city of Detroit and we put on seminars talking about prostate health, prostate awareness, and what it is that African American men need to do to get tested. We asked them to sign a pledge, and we are directing them to, for those that don't have primary care physicians, we are directing those men to what they call federally qualified health centers to try and establish a relationship.
Okay, Nabil, I want you to hold that thought.
Sure.
We're going to take a break, and ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, have your pens ready because you need to write a number down and the website so you can get more insight on 100 Black Men of Greater Detroit. We'll be right back.
Do you know that stroke targets by color? If you're African American, you're twice as likely to suffer a stroke as white Americans. Join the power to end stroke at strokeassociation.org.
If a natural disaster happened, we'd probably all meet around the grocery store.
We would all meet at a bus stop.
Oh, we'd probably meet at our neighbor's house.
And welcome back to the last half of the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you actually are sitting here listening and knowing to yourself that you may have a young man, family members who have young men who you think should get involved, or you want to know more about 100 Black Men of Greater Detroit. We're going to give you the website number and the phone number so you can ask the questions or see how you can become an active member or just be involved, period. Another thing, when we talk about health and wellness, this information is good for you. Some gentlemen are sitting at home saying, I'm not going to the doctor. They're not going to have me cough and this and that. You want to live. If you want to live, you need to get checked out. If you feel like you're embarrassed about something, more so what's the embarrassing part is to wait too late. To wait too late to have yourself diagnosed or checked out for any apparent reason. That's the part that's wrong, okay? So if you are concerned, if there's a slight pain somewhere, uncomfortable, If you don't have any insurance, you still can go to your closest clinic and find out if you can get a waiver because you have no income, low income, or no insurance. Or call an agency or a service like 100 Black Men of Greater Detroit and ask them, how can I get checked out for prostate cancer?
Sure.
Okay? So
And I would say that just to kind of close out the prostate awareness, we are working towards a walk on Belle Isle on Saturday, September the 11th, 2010, that will again really significantly raise the awareness and the importance of not only health in general, but specifically what we can do to help combat prostate awareness.
you know, the idea of knowing more about it, you know, it's so hard to see that men don't believe in trying to find out. My father, who I just recently lost, had the is it prostate?
Yes.
Prostate cancer in his early 40s. He
Yes.
was 47.
Right.
My father lived to be 85. And I remember he didn't tell us until he was in his mid-50s
Sure.
something was going on in his life. But even at that point, he had to, I'm sure, rationalize with himself the changes his body was going to go through. Yet he managed to live to be 85 years of age before he, you know, succumbed to it. But I was just admiring the fact that he got himself checked out, took care of the matter earlier, decided as the years went by to share the information with the family. We're watching him, and he was actually fine. So it's something that you can live with, but you want to get it caught early enough so that it moves out your way and let you continue on with your life.
Early detection in all areas of health and wellness is absolutely critical. The more you know, the sooner you know it, the better off your chances of surviving and living a quality of life are much greater.
Do you know or have you heard from any men who know what the biggest fear of is about finding out if you have such a condition?
I think it's just a fear of going into that room and getting undressed and answering very personal questions to another individual, whether that be a male or female.
Okay, okay. I mean, but that's such a small pill to swallow, but I hear what you're saying because I'm not a man, so I'd have to know from my own point. And just like, you know, breast cancer or anything like that, we have to talk to the doctor. We have to say what we feel and everything. To me, it's almost about the same. You know, cancer, and when it's in your body somewhere, it's got to be addressed. You got to talk about it, and it's got to get out so that you'll know that you're not the only one, you know. And so the more awareness about it, to me, it seemed like it would draw more people to it. What about the fact that it's like a lot of men who don't have insurance? You know?
Well, again, that's why what we're trying to do is establish a relationship with the federally qualified health centers where individual men can go and establish a relationship with a primary care physician to, in fact, have that test done, the PSA, in some form of diagnosis. So we are trying to push and encourage African American men that don't have health insurance to go to those federally qualified health centers, or if you have a relationship or you do have health insurance, just please go see your primary care physician and get an annual physical.
Okay.
Right.
Now, can we get the phone number on you guys?
Sure. Our phone number is area code 313-874-4811.
Okay.
Again, 313-874-4811.
Okay.
Or contact us via the website, and that would be www.100blackmendetroit.org.
Okay.
Either of those ways, you'll get to us.
Okay. I think the more knowledge, you know, we get out about certain things, or all things really, helps not just one community or not just one race. It helps
Sure.
all, so people can be more knowledgeable, period.
Absolutely.
You know, and just the crossover. And like I said, for my father, I was most grateful to have him as long as I did. And we talked freely about, you know, his health. And he actually told me one day, he says, you know, he said, the cancer doesn't bother me. He says, the diabetes. And I was just in shock. I said, oh, he says, you never know how you're going to feel when you wake up. But he was telling me that he was comfortable knowing that he had this ailment and that the physicians had got it under control, and he was still living a pretty healthy life as long as he could. And I was just grateful to know that he didn't leave us so early.
Sure.
And I think a lot of men should learn that you don't have to leave this earth early
Okay.
if you go see about yourself.
Again, remember my point earlier was 40% of African American men do not reach the age of 65 here in the state of Michigan. So that's a real wake-up call that there are a number of things that we need to do, should be doing to improve our quality of life.
That is true. That is true. So hopefully after today's show, we will be able to assist you in getting some calls and some people who want to get checked out, or better yet, find out how to become an active member.
Participate in the walk. We would certainly welcome that, along with the other programs that we have that are directed toward mentoring youth, because that's a real big focus of ours.
What about are there volunteer physicians and certain businesses that come together and also support you guys so that?
Oh, well, sure. In fact, one of our programs, our oratorical contests, where we just this past year made available over $140,000 in scholarships, cash awards, and book allowances to seniors within the Detroit Public Schools. We had over 70 students from 12 high schools in Detroit participate in our oratorical contest. And we have our college and university partners that provided scholarships. That would be University of Detroit Mercy, Western Michigan University, Michigan State University, Olivet College, and Eastern Michigan University. GMAC provided over $10,000 for book allowances. Excellence in Action Wireless Resources also provided over $10,000 for cash awards for students. So we have a number of companies that support us in our endeavor. For our project success, we've had people like the Ford Motor Fund, General Motors, Henry Ford Health System, Health Alliance Plan,
you guys are pretty
Blue
well
Cross
connected.
Blue Shield.
Okay.
We have had a tremendous amount of support from the corporate community, and we're very, very grateful, for that.
Okay. Well, you know what? When other organizations support you, they believe in your cause. They
Yes.
believe in what you do, and that's how they come forth. And that's a wonderful thing to have, and because it's a continuous relationship, hopefully for you. And the things that you guys are doing, obviously, are showing it 100% positive and effective in the community. So that what makes it worthwhile for everybody to join hands and say we need to support this particular organization right here. And that's a good thing. We hope that today we can have helped you out getting some information out in reference to the service itself, the organization overall. And all right, well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our focus point is to get some information out to you, not only what's going on in the community, but what's going on in the entire world when it comes to health and wellness and other events that will relate to you being a volunteer or being involved in some type of service. Please feel free to contact us on our website, justastalkshow.org, or give us a call, 248-988-0250. And once again, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask, and what do I always say? If you know someone with a disability, or if you just have a general question, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host. Thank you.